So if you have assets, these are the reasons you might want to opt for another loan workout besides a short sale. I'm not saying don't do a short sale. In fact, back in the last round of the mortgage crisis, we probably did far more short sales than clients who took foreclosures or deeds in lieu. But I want to talk to you about why some of the people took foreclosures or did deed in lieus where they didn't have to turn over their asset pictures rather than a short sale. I went to Google Gemini to see if short sale packages still ask for asset statements. I knew they would, but I just wanted to prove it. So I clicked on the first one, Chase, and this is a profit and loss statement that Chase requests. And this would be for a small business. So you're giving them a snapshot of your asset picture right now. There's a lot of reasons why you wouldn't want to do this on a recourse loan second, but there's obviously for many people, there's reasons why you just don't want the banks to know all about your asset picture for myriad business reasons and personal reasons. And also, one of the ones that became sort of a big issue towards the end was that if you didn't provide let me just say, if your realtor is telling you just fudge, as they did, I saw many people and talked to more on the phone who's like, my realtor told me to just fudge, and I want to know that's true. And a few calls were like, my realtor told me to fudge, and now collection people are coming after me, right? I mean, here, let me tell you why it's serious. This is 580. It's the California short sale statute. If you fit within this rule, the parameters of this law, you're not going to have indebtedness to the bank after a short sale is approved, and arguably, you wouldn't even have to pay taxes on the cancellation of debt income. I'm not speaking of capital gains there. I'm just talking about typically the 1099-C comes out, and that's a nightmare for people because it could be a 1099-C for $80,000, $100,000. That would be income directly onto you as if you had a job because the Mortgage Debt Forgiveness Act is expired. So if this was a recourse loan, that would be a problem. 580E makes it not a problem, possibly, in my legal opinion. And so therefore, many times you would want to do a short sale over taking a foreclosure on a recourse loan. However, what you don't want to do is this. Reveal your assets to a recourse loan second, or reveal your assets to a bank who might have reasons to be able to come after you rather than executing a process that would relieve you of the deficiency. And third, and this is probably the biggest one, when you work for yourselves, if you were fudging to make yourself look stronger than you really were, and now you're telling the truth and you're really weak, that would also reveal fraud. I don't think you'd want to do that. So you don't want to do fraud in your hardship package when you have assets now, and you don't want to reveal that you may have lied earlier about your assets. So if you've done that, you can't do a traditional short sale with a realtor at all. I mean, that would be my legal advice to most people. Does that mean you can't do a short sale? No. Does that mean you can't do a deed in lieu? No. Although many times you might want to still prefer short sale to deed in lieu. Does that mean you shouldn't take a foreclosure? No. Those are still options. But what you're going to need is to have a lawyer who can explain all these rules to the lender and then set the servicer, the mitigation department up. You're like, I need to, and you're going to go to escrow. You're going to get facts from escrow. You're going to have the lawyer put the letter together and say, look, you have an opportunity to help your investor or the pool of money that owns these mortgages. And you have if we can prove it, you have a fiduciary duty to them. And I'm going to show you why you must exercise your fiduciary duty now rather than wait. And then we string together all the reasons you're going to make them wait for their asset. And you're going to say, and in the end, I'm advising my seller to put renters in there, and they're going to have a long lease because while you're taking all this time to take this property back, my client not going to let the property go to waste. He's going to make sure that it's being used, there's maintained, and in order for him to do that, we've got to have renters. So we're going to show them how to absolutely maximize the amount of time you're going to save up money and you're going to bring in money, provided it's legal. Like, we're not going to do things in a way that's illegal, but we're going to say your realtor, your investor is not going to see any money back on this property for X. And we're going to explain. California law has now been extended. So it's not just the typical short sale process where, it's like start sending out letters 30 days, then 90 days, then 21 days, and then a sale date. It's going to be 4 months more than that to begin because of the federal law. And as a real estate attorney and broker, at some point in time, probably the maximum time for us to get this done and give my client time we're going to stop that foreclosure by listing the property for sale. And then 43 days later, we're going to bring a good offer from an investor in, because I can do that because I'm an attorney, so I can certify your property is good for investors, which a normal realtor can't. You're going to get strong offers, and they're going to be there for the entire period. This is not a joke. These people are going to stay. So we're looking at over a year before you get this property back in a foreclosure. Therefore, I advise you to agree to a short sale without a hardship. Or therefore, we're going to give you the deed in lieu, and we're going to set it all up. And we're going to make sure you have no excuses not to take the deed in lieu and do the foreclosure. We're going to go to title, and we're going to set it up so that if you agree, I'm a lawyer, we're going to set it up so you get full, clean title of this property. We'll find a way to do it. So now, are you ready to negotiate with my seller without him revealing all his assets to you? Because we just don't want to do that. We're not going to show a hardship. Maybe we'll admit. I mean, that's the strategy. We go over all your angles, how we make this, leverage the law to get your deal done, and we have the backup plans. So that is a warning about how to get out of properties. Theoretically, let's say you're a low equity seller. We could try to do it this way without you even having to go into late payments. Theoretically, it didn't happen often, but if we can position you well enough, we can maybe get the bank to take the property back before you have to take a credit hit. It's rare. I'm willing to try because it happened a few times. Generally, if I recall, I would suspect you really did have a hardship, or there were other extraneous circumstances. But I'm telling you, these laws and my understanding of the duties of the servicers, these laws in California are so good now for us to, a year or two from now, after we've tried this 3 or 4 times with every bank, and we've got, if it happens for that long, and we know this pool of assets that it doesn't work, this pool of does. I mean, I'll have more updates for you. But right now, I'm saying that why not try to do this well rather than, it's like, it reminds me, you can follow the narrative and be just someone who just goes along, get the realtor. The realtor has limited tools, provide all your assets to the bank, hope they approve. You can just be part of the narrative, or you can, apply some thought and logic and actually have your best chance and put people on there that are experienced, and the worst thing that happens is you wind up with a narrative result instead of a better result. So my name's John McConnin. It's Saturday morning. I really wanted to go up and do this right now. I have more. I'm going to do some more videos today, but there should be no doubt that if you have assets, but you have reasons that you want out, and there's not, another thought is work with a realtor or a team who's got the ability to help you not have to pay buyer agent commissions. I can save you 2.5 or 3% right there. Angles and strategies for that. And if, I'm going to tell you this too. If you want to try to do a short sale and there's just a tiny bit of equity in your house, we'll get that done for you. If you're on the CRMLS, we'll try really hard to get that done for you without it even going to short sale. Why? Because I would rather help you not damage your credit and get paid a few $1,000s than I would rather see you go through all. First of all, it's a lot of work for us. But second of all, the stress, it's just the humanity of, I just don't see why we wouldn't do it. We can get this done. You might have to do a little more work with us. Maybe we're not going to do open houses, but we'll get it done. In theory, all the way down to zero. I hope that, you'd want to pay us something. But we would, I'd rather everybody not do a short sale if they can avoid it. And, the CRMLS, which I'm a member of, it goes almost all over. So, we have a really wide service area. So let's talk. John McConnin, UpsideDownRealEstate.com.